Random enlightened commentary.
People being so quick to call others racist or sexist and so on diminishes the seriousness behind these words. So many of you out here are calling people these labels with the same impact and equivalence to calling a meat eater a murderer. It's way too extreme. Understand the history behind what's coming out of your mouth. Understand that there are actual victims who met their end at the hands of these individuals. Don't dilute the terrible acts they've committed by saying these terms so carelessly for the sake of politics and ego. Believe it or not, it harms the movement towards progress more than it helps it. These words are representative of inhumane acts of power committed as a response to rooted beliefs and doctrines against another group that been socially labeled as inferior for the sole benefit of the group perpetrating the acts. By inhumane acts, I mean acts lacking compassion, acts that are cruel and are against the fundamentality of human rights to life, quality of life, and the innate freedom of choice. I'm of the belief that there's energy tied to everything we say and do, and there's dark histories behind each of these terms that make them hold weight. To be so empowered to the point of throwing them around so casually is quite concerning to me. Once we can separate the ists and the isms, we can begin to create clarity at a societal level and work to get to the roots of so many of these social issues. For instance, people can be benefiting from a system of racism without being an actual racist. At the same time, there is a minority of individuals who are actually racist, benefiting within a system of racism. For those who've been labeled as racist when they actually aren't racist, they likely displayed some type of prejudice, which, to be clear, we all have. By prejudice, I'm talking about having a preconceived idea about someone or a group of people, regardless of if you've interacted with them or not. That influences your behavior towards them. That preconceived idea can come from a place of sheer ignorance, class privilege, or pure misery and hatred. Or heck, all of the above. Prejudice acts often give rise to what we've come to know as microaggressions, which can and often do actively contribute to the system of classism. Now, why am I saying all this? I'm saying all this because I was under the impression we wanted to have positive change in the world, but clearly it appears I didn't get the memo when we decided to change this all up. We do want people to grow, right? Well, that requires accountability, which requires patience, care, and understanding. Or do we just want to put people in their lane to feel good for a fleeting moment? If it's the latter, be ready for a worse world and not a better one. I find it ironic we speak on microaggressions and the negative impact that they can have, and yet so many of us are doing this. There's clearly been a complete disregard for contexts. This is not being socially sensitive. It is being socially irresponsible. Labeling people with these terms should be done with care. If we truly want to be an inclusive society, we need to allow room for growth and for diverse thought that operates within the confines of mutual respect. Otherwise, we'll create the very world we strive so much to oppose. The political landscape doesn't want you to think. They want you to react. And one of the best ways to do this is through promotion of the us versus them mentality, which is best achieved through emotionally charged labels. They did this before during the Cold War in the US. At that time, heaven forbid you be labeled an enemy of the state. You can choose to agree with this, you can choose to disagree with this, but I urge you, take a pause and just think about it.